It's my role to open officially the 8th Summer Institute, and the second one that we're having at Victoria University. I think there are 450 or more teachers here at this institute, and I hope that you've all enjoyed your first day, all the strands that you've been to, judging by the noise in the auditorium when you all came in. It sounds like you've had a fairly lively day. Now, people ask me what does a Chancellor do? And I have one principal role at the university. I'm the person who makes the boring speech at graduation ceremonies. So I just thought I'd carry on with that activity here today. But in all seriousness, I really am so enthusiastic and so pleased that Victoria University is hosting this Summer Institute. We regard ourselves as the home of AVID in Australia. And I think, as many of you know, I've been a great supporter of AVID. In fact, I regard myself as an avid fan. And I was trying to think of what could I bore you with in this opening ceremony? What sort of speech would be consistent with the role of a Chancellor? And because I'm not an educator and I've never done any teaching, but I've become so supportive of this great activity at AVID, I thought I'd just tell you the reasons why AVID has appealed to me and why I think we support it so strongly at Victoria University. There are 5 reasons as I reflect on what caused me to become so enamoured of the AVID programs. There are 5 reasons. I'm going to tell you about each one of them. They're my reasons. They're not necessarily in order of importance. And I hope that perhaps you might identify with some of them. The first one is the 40 years of data that demonstrates the effectiveness of AVID as a tool, as a system, as a way of improving educational outcomes. And perhaps I should just give you a little bit of background on why all this data appeals to me so much. Before I was involved with Victoria University, long before I was involved with Victoria University, I had a career as a management consultant with one of the world's leading global consulting firms who provided strategic and organisational advice to the biggest global companies in the world. And part of my training was to be very rigorous with data, to provide what I think others outside our profession would call evidence-based advice. And one of the first bits of advice that I was given by one of my mentors, I think it was in the first month or so of my career with the Boston Consulting Group, one of the first bits of advice that I was given was by my mentor, who said, "Look, George, everything you hear from a client is an opinion unless it's supported by facts, by data, by analysis, by numbers." So after Claire had got me very excited about AVID, I stepped back and I said, "Claire, show me the numbers." And she did. She did. And I think you've seen most of them. You've seen the data from the US over 40 years. You've seen the data that's emerging from our experience in Australia over the last 8 years. And that data shows the impact that AVID has on improving student outcomes. And so I found that reasonably convincing, and perhaps to cap it all off was the recent case study that we've seen about Nike's involvement in a significant part of the Oregon State school system in the US. It's a case study that's written by people at the Harvard Business School in collaboration with the Harvard School of Education. Now I went to the Harvard Business School, so any data that comes from the Harvard Business School and any case study that comes from the Harvard Business School, I regard very highly. So that reinforces, all that data, all that evidence reinforces my view of why I should be supportive of AVID. But the second reason relates to another piece of advice that I received as a young consultant, and that was, don't just rely on the data. Go out and see for yourself. Go and observe. Look at how whatever it is that you're studying works. So I did. I've been to Wyndham Central College 3 times now, Leanne, and every time it's been a revelation. It's been amazing, and I think I said it at last year's opening ceremony. I think what I said last year was that I have rarely, if ever, have seen young students, young teenagers, so engaged with their school activity as I did when I visited the classes at your school, Leanne. And also, and now I'm getting to the third reason, to see the commitment of the teachers, the principal and the teachers at Wyndham, and to look at the kinds of commitments that teachers and schools make to become part of AVID. That reinforces in me the fact that people who use this system, who come to AVID, and who AVID also selects to be part of the program, are committed people. They're people, they don't see this as a quick fix. They don't see this as something that's easily available off the shelf, pop it into your school system, turn a couple of knobs and it'll fix everything. It involves a lot of hard work. It involves a lot of preparation. We don't take on schools as part of AVID unless they are AVID ready, which means a significant level of commitment. And that selection process, selection by the schools, selection by AVID, reinforces in me the fact that this is something that is more likely to work than not. So there's 3 reasons so far. The fourth one is that there is substance to this. And that's why I think there is so much commitment. There is substance. I am really impressed by WICOR. I'm impressed by this organising framework that pulls together in a very logical system a set of very well developed educational policies, tools, interventions, principles, but mostly a set of tools that work. I've even got to know what WICOR stands for. Look, I'm putting my notes away. Writing, inquiry, collaboration, organisation, and reading. Thank you. I've been sweating on that all afternoon. Will I remember what WICOR is all about? But quite seriously, I think you probably gathered that, given my background, I am a person who really values substance. And I see substance in the AVID set of tools. And I hope you see substance as well. Well, you must to give up the time to be here. And that's one of the things that impresses me, that it's not something that is a set of superficial ideas that somebody suddenly dreamed up. It's been developed over a long period of time. And I was really impressed to see an analysis by Peter Goss, who is the education guru at the Grattan Institute. He's put together a chart. I don't know if Claire has shared it with all of you, but at some stage it's something you should look at. But he's put on this chart a whole range of interventions or tools to improve student outcomes in the education process. And he's classified them along 2 dimensions, effectiveness and cost. And guess where most of the AVID tools fall? They fall in the quadrant that is the most effective and the least cost. So from the point of view of this set of systematic tools with a brilliant organising framework, with a cost effectiveness that really makes it attractive for all of your schools, I think AVID has a lot of substance and a lot going for it. And that's my fourth reason. And of course, the fifth reason is that Victoria University takes the AVID program very seriously. You know, not only have we supported AVID over the last 8 years with the help of philanthropic organisations such as Leanne's, thank you for your support, and other philanthropists, but VU has put a lot into this program. And it's not just the financial support. We are using AVID methodologies ourselves. We are bringing the AVID training into our teaching staff. Max is nodding very enthusiastically. You've obviously had another great time here, Max, yes. And there are a whole bunch of Victoria University teachers who are here, mostly from our first year program, the block model that I think you've all heard about, the very effective block model that is itself achieving some great outcomes. So Claire has been busy training our teachers and getting them to come here to the AVID Institute, so that the Summer Institute, so that we can embed AVID methodologies in the way that we teach our higher education students and our TAFE students at Victoria University. In fact, we and I are so committed to AVID that we have created, and I think this is the first time that you will hear about this. The VC was going to announce it tomorrow, but I thought I'd steal his thunder. Since I'm one of the sponsors, and since I'm the Chancellor, you know, I can do. But we've created 10 travelling scholarships for our first year teachers, our block teachers, to go to the Summer Institute in Colorado next year. And this is the Higher Education Summer Institute. I don't know how we're going to choose which 10 go. You probably all fight it out amongst yourselves. But we are so committed to this program that we are sending our own teachers to be the beneficiaries of this kind of training. And we will infuse this methodology within our teaching ranks because we see ourselves as an innovator in education. We see ourselves through our block model, through our sponsorship of AVID, through the work that we've done in the Mitchell Institute in preschool education, as a force for changing the face of education in this country and improving educational outcomes. So, you've endured my boring speech, and I thank you for listening attentively. I think that you are and you will enhance your own professional development through attending this Summer Institute. But can I also say, let us have the benefit of your insight. This is a constantly evolving and improving methodology. We value the observations that you would have. We want to know what improvements can be made. And we think you are the best people to provide us with that advice. So don't hang back. And finally, may I say that we're all engaged in a journey. We're engaged in a journey to improve educational outcomes in this country. We need that improvement, as all of you know. And that's our mission at Victoria University, one of our missions, not only to help our students graduate, to get jobs, to develop themselves as people, and so on, but also to change the face of education in Australia so that all students in this country can achieve better outcomes. So I hope that all of you become ambassadors for AVID. I hope that all of you spread the word about AVID, because AVID's reputation grows by word of mouth. And the most respected word of mouth is from those who have participated in its programs, who've used its methodologies, who see the benefits directly. And if you see those benefits directly, I'm sure you will communicate them to your colleagues in other schools. I suppose I should declare the Summer Institute officially open, and I do. Thank you all very much.